Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Jamu Jaya Gopi Jannavalabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jannavalabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari. Jaya Jasodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jasodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana. Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotarasatasi Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Stotarasatasi Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita. Giradhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath. Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki. Jamunamai Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki. Brihat Mridanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki. Prasadam Distribution Ki. Their most beautiful lordship, Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadisha Ki. Shri Shri Gaurani Tai Ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadradeva Ki. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the Lotus Feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 9, Chapter 15, Parashuram, the Lord's Warrior Incarnation. And this is text number 11. It has a short purport, so I thought that we could read this verse. We can say it responsibly, and then we'll see how it goes, because it is a short purport, and I might choose to move on to text number 15. Prasadita Satyavata Maivam Vor Iti Bhargava Ata Tarhi Bhavet Potro Jamad Dagnis Tato Bhavat Prasadita Satyadvatya Maivan Iti Bhargavaha Atatarhi Bhavet Potro Jamandagnis Tato Bhavat Prasadita Satyavatya Maivambor Iti Bhargava Atatarhi Bhavet Potro Jamandagnis Tato Bhavat Prasadita Satyavatya Maivambor Iti Bhargavaha Ata tarhi bhavet potro Jamandagnis tato bhavat. Someone else, please. Prasaditat satvitataha Maivan bor iti bhargava. Prasaditat satyavatya Maivambor iti bhargavaha Atatarhi bhavet patro Jamandagnis tato bhavat. Ladies, please. Prasaditat satyavatya Maivambor iti bhargavaha Atatarhi bhavet potro Jamandagnis tato bhavat. Prasadita prasaditya Atatarhi bhavet potro Jamandagnis tato. Prasadita, pacified. Satyavatya, by Satyavati. Ma, not. Evam, thus. Bor, let it be. Iti, thus. Bhargava, the great sage. Ata, if your son should not become like that. Tarhi, then. Bhavet, should become like that. Potra, the grandson. Jamandagni, Tata, thereafter. Abhavat, was born. Translation, Satyavati, however, pacified Rishika Muni with peaceful words and requested that her son not be like a fierce Kshatriya. Rishika Muni replied, then your grandson will be of a Kshatriya spirit. Thus Jagandagni was born from the son of Satyavati. Purport, the great sage Rishika was very angry, but somehow or another Satyavati pacified him, and at her request he changed his mind. It is indicated here that the son of Jagandagni would be born as Parashuram. Om Gyanatamirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, once again, some wonderful instructions throughout this chapter that Srila Prabhupada is giving. In this particular purport, there's a word that caught my attention that I thought was very significant, and that word was angry, anger. So I wanted to speak a little bit about that particular word. This is something that affects everyone in society, and unfortunately, we also get affected by anger at different times, or we feel anger at different times. Sorry about that. When lust is not satisfied, we become angry. When we have a particular desire to do something, when we have a particular desire to want to see a certain result, and that result does not happen according to what we anticipated, what we see, what we want, then that anger can pollute us. So within this Krishna consciousness, and I speak of this often, the holy name, again, and this is a bead bag, as I spoke in the last class. This is our medicine to control anger. And we should ultimately understand Aham sarvasya pravavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Krishna is the source of everything. Everything emanates from him. He's the controller. So it's important that we do our very best as devotees to follow the instruction of the spiritual master, that we follow the instructions of the authorities, of our Srila Prabhupada, and what Srila Prabhupada has written in these books. There's a lot of instructions, a lot. And it's important that we even pay attention and follow even the small points, even the little things that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in his books, that we follow those and we adhere to them very strictly. The first thing, of course, is 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, attending the morning program. That will give us the strength to conquer anger, which it pollutes us to where we don't even think properly. And the holy name is strong enough and powerful enough that it will help us to overcome and conquer anger. Now, the other alternative is to turn to those activities that are not beneficial for us, which further drive us down into the mode of ignorance. We want to, and that is intoxication. That comes to mind, intoxication. And we see that the non-devotees, they don't have any alternative, or they don't know of any other alternative. So therefore, because they don't know of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and taking shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then they'll take shelter of intoxication, which suppresses, which helps them to forget, or they do forget about this anger and these desires and everything that's going on inside, but only to sober up, and then they're right back where they started again. Whereas the chanting of Hare Krishna is purifying. It goes to the root. It destroys at the roots all these material desires. And when the material desires are not satisfied, when they're not satisfied, then that anger arises, and it's polluting, and ultimately it checks our advancement. So just on a practical level, if we ever find that something is not turning out the way we want, a situation, or even someone that we're interacting with and we're not getting that result from that devotee or that person on Sankirtan even, that we understand that we need to take shelter of the chanting of the holy name, that we need to see where is everything coming from, and that we don't have to succumb to this anger. I was speaking with one Sankirtan devotee the other day, and he was saying that sometimes when he goes out and he's distributing books, the person is not receptive, the person is not cooperative, the person is, tries to be controlling, the person tries to put the devotee down for what he's trying to do, and it gets irritating. So this is all normal. I mean, it's normal in the sense that we can expect it will happen in this world, and it will happen to us at this stage of life that we're at. But again, by understanding where this all comes from and by taking shelter ultimately of the holy name and chanting our 16 rounds and attending the morning program that Srila Prabhupada has very simply laid out for us, then when those situations arise, we'll see that actually I'm not affected by anger in the way that I used to be. And I know for myself, just the little bit of advancement that I've made in the years of being a devotee, what I used to do when I got angry and what I do now are two different things. Years and years ago, before I knew about Krishna, I would throw things at people, or I would yell at them, and it would become a shouting match, and just on and on. But as a devotee, it seems that when the anger is coming up, it's easy to just kind of control that and understand where it's coming from. Not when that lust or I want something is arising, we just understand, that everything is Krishna's. Krishna's in control of everything, and by taking shelter and by chanting and thinking of Krishna, then that gradually that anger, that mode of ignorance, that lower mode will go away. And sometimes we're in a really good spirit, we're all fired up, we're chanting really well, we're getting along with everybody, and then other days is like, wow, did I get up on the wrong side of the bed today, as is said. But it's temporary, so long as we adhere very strictly to what Srila Prabhupada has instructed us to do. And gradually, you'll see less and less of that mode of ignorance or that anger, as we're speaking about right here in this purport, will come up. So I thought maybe I can just stop for a moment and see if anybody had any question. Otherwise, I would go on and read the next couple of translations in the purport. But I thought maybe we can have some conversation about this for the next 15 minutes on this topic, and then we don't have to perhaps read on to the next verses. So, Prabhu, you have a question or comments? And then I'll get... And then Sachin and I, Prabhu, I'll ask for your question.
Thank you, Prabhu. I have a few things to say. When I was here, I heard a class from Vijay Prabhu. I don't know if he's here, but he gave a class, and he was saying, he was talking about the people who get upset on the road and go out and shoot someone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to think of the phrase, and he was like, it's called something like rage. And that was very funny to me, because he's someone who's very, very peaceful. He's he doesn't even know what road rage is,
Mm.
and just I don't know, And also, there's one memory tape where a devotee is talking about Srila Prabhupada was invited to this opening. They were going to open a temple. And they were inviting all these like delegates there. They were going to meet. And when Srila Prabhupada got there, it was just like an empty lot with some cement there. And he scolded the devotees, and they said that he was like a living thunderstorm for that time. And then he took some devotees aside and like started to plan like, okay, let's start like really building this temple now. And they asked him, Srila Prabhupada, you were 5 minutes ago like giving them like this chastisement, and they were so afraid, and now you're so peaceful. How can you do that? And he said that a devotee can show anger outwardly, but it's kind of like the ripples on the top of the ocean, like, but the consciousness of a devotee is so deeply immersed in Krishna that it.
Yes, I remember when I was active with the Gurukula. I was an ashram teacher and a Gurukul teacher, and I remember hearing many times how important it is. You can show anger, but don't be controlled by it. So when we're going out and we're distributing books, we're preaching. Not that we yell at people and we get angry, but if someone offends a devotee, offends Krishna, we should be ready to defend the devotee, or we should be ready to defend Krishna, defend what Srila Prabhupada has worked so hard, and what we have worked so hard to establish. Not that we've established ISKCON, but what I'm saying is that what opening temples and protecting the temple, as we do here. We protect this temple against those that may not look upon Krishna so favorably. So it's okay to show anger and to be very strong about what you're saying and what you're doing, but don't be affected by anger. So that was I think the point that I was I wanted to make is, don't be controlled by anger. Sacinandana Prabhu, you had something that you wanted to say or question. Could you give him the microphone, please?
What that was in relation to that is already answered.
Okay.
That Hanuman got angry, Arjuna got angry, Prabhupada got angry, but sometimes certain things in which Prabhupada acted in his anger is very difficult for us to try to be like him. And I just remember the example that one devotee was giving, that when he went to Japan and they find an engagement for Prabhupada, and an impersonalist was invited at the same time to speak as Prabhupada. And Prabhupada spoke first, and then the impersonalist spoke for like maybe 20 or half an hour, and Prabhupada was chanting patiently. He was a Mayavadi. So at one point Prabhupada said, "Stop him!" And the devotees got like really like how with the cartels and going. And then they say, "Do kirtan." So certain things maybe we cannot do, but he can do. He can get away with anything. Like he said, an older man and a child can get away with so many things. But I was going to ask you to comment, and I think you already did that.
Okay. Someone else have something to add? Could you please bring? Yes, please.
Yes, I have a question regarding anger. This has happened to me more than once. So it's like when you accidentally get somebody upset, and you try to approach them in a humble way and you try to apologize, and yet it still seems like they're angry at you. it's like, how can you be humble yourself if that other person, is like really angry about something, A lot of the times I feel like I can't even approach people without having, it's like, what did I say, And sometimes I have problems controlling my emotions, but they've been a lot better since I've been here. But even still, I still feel like, like, it's like, why is like everybody like seem like they're angry at me for some reason. It's like, what did I say,
Right.
And then I want to approach them, but I can't because I feel like, they don't want to talk to me. They just walk away. It's like I can't go up to that person and apologize if they still seem like they're angry. So what do you do in a situation like that?
That's really, what you're saying is really, it's important because, we're all chanting Hare Krishna. We all come to the morning program. We're all trying to serve Krishna. But, things happen. We're people. We're not perfect. It may be that, and I'm going to go on to address your point. It could be that, here we are in the city, and here I came from, a place where it's pretty quiet. And it's taken me a while, and I'm getting used to it, slowly. Or maybe you never get used to it. You go to put your head down on the pillow at night, and all of a sudden ambulances are out there, or people are running around, or someone's next door and they're playing the music too loud, or you're hearing people out on the street and they're talking so loud, So these things can definitely be irritating, and you can get angry, and even you may want to go speak with them about the situation, and they look at you like, who are you? I don't really, hey man, that's your problem, So, we all experience this on one level or another. But the real thing is to remember is that, we can't control other people and what they're thinking and what they're saying, but we can control the way we respond to it. So it's not that we're just some, doormat and we let people just keep yelling at us. Like even on Sankirtan, there's been times when I would go out and someone would start yelling at me. I even remember somebody threw me down on the ground one time and started hitting me. He started kicking me in a parking lot. So, this is, of course, to help me to become tolerant, to become patient, to become, to get rid of some karma. But it's a real challenge sometimes when someone is, coming at you and they're angry. I still have people that are angry with me, even though I approach them and say, Hare Krishna, I'm sorry if I offended you. Let's discuss it and work it out. And they'll just walk away, or they don't want to work it out.
Yeah, so like,
there's nothing to work out, But what you can work out and what we can work out in our own hearts is that we become peaceful, that we become satisfied, that we become strong within inside, that we develop a good self-esteem of ourselves, that we feel confident, that we know we're doing the right thing. And we've all stepped on people's toes before, as they say. I could speak for myself. I've offended everybody. I've treated people harshly. I haven't been nice to people. Even here, as much as I try, sometimes to not do it. Sometimes I'm short with people, or my tone of voice. But the important thing is to just try, and if someone doesn't want to work it out, well, you put them on the prayer list, and you just, what can you do? And it may be that someday, it could be a day from now, it could be a week from now, it could be 5 years from now, they will come back to you. And I've had this happen. They will come back to you and say, you know what, I'm really sorry, but 5 years ago or a week ago, I said this to you, I did this to you, I offended you, I blamed you, what have you. But, it's, you can only do the best that you can, and don't take things personally either. So this is on a real practical level, just, you don't take it personally, because if you're trying your best and you're doing your best and you're trying to approach somebody, and they don't want to they don't want to work it out, they don't want to resolve it. You know, maybe they're not ready. They're not ready to resolve it, or they don't want to resolve it. I'll get with you in a second, Prabhu. You know, I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on the practical side of how to deal with a situation like that.
Yeah, Savas Prabhu also told me a while back that devotees usually they don't stay angry like that for too long. They just, they eventually forgive. They don't stay angry. That's what he told me.
The thing is, you can also learn to forgive. Forgiveness. You forgive that person. And, don't do it necessarily for them, but you do it for yourself. And eventually, if you're chanting and you're just really trying hard, you're praying to the deities, eventually then that feeling will go away. It's because we're not getting what we want necessarily. We're not getting the result that we want. And therefore, when we don't get the result that we want, then we get irritated, we get angry, and suddenly it's like, well, what's that person's problem? Really, it's our problem. I do want to hear what Archita Prabhu has to say. So would you bring the microphone to him, please?
Two practical examples. Prabhupada, of course.
Yes.
In Montreal, early days, they were having a little program in Prabhupada's quarters, and this Indian gentleman came and, take darshan, and he was speaking. But by the end of the darshan, he was mad at Prabhupada because, he had his own idea of what spirituality was all about, and he was yelling at Prabhupada. And Brahmananda and other devotees, they really wanted to pick this guy up and throw him out, but Prabhupada kept telling him to be cool. So then after the guy left, finally Prabhupada asked, did anybody get his contact information? And the devotees were shocked. It's like, this guy was so offensive. Why would we want to get his contact? Prabhupada said, no. He said, maybe I did something to him in a previous life. You see? So that's Prabhupada was setting the example. That don't just see the immediate situation. Maybe there was some prior karmic connection between the two of you, and maybe you did something to that guy, and now he's gotten the opportunity to take it out on you. You see? So you have to see the big picture. And then the other example is not to be a doormat, and this was given by Narad Muni when he made that cobra the disciple. He made a cobra into the disciple, and then he went away, and he came back, and the cobra was looking all bedraggled and beaten up. And he said, what happened to you? He said, well, now that I'm a devotee, everybody knows I don't bite, so they kick me, they stomp on me. So Narad Muni said, I told you not to bite, but I didn't say that you can't scare them. So then he got the message. When they came to try to kick him, he would raise up his hoods and they would run away. So you can defend yourself. It's not that you have to become a doormat. You can defend yourself, but it doesn't mean that you hold on to it. See, because a devotee means somebody who's getting the nectar of Krishna consciousness. And if you're actually drinking the nectar, then there's no room for poison to enter it. There's no room for poison. But that doesn't mean, again, that you can't, raise your hoods so that people don't kick you.
And in Bhagavad Gita, thank you very much, Archita Prabhu. In Bhagavad Gita, if you look in the index under anger, Srila Prabhupada directs us to different verses and purports about anger. So it's really important in order to come to the mode of goodness to get anger under control, because anger will keep us in the mode of ignorance, and gradually, we can't focus on what we want to do, and ultimately we're not going to be happy, and we can't serve Krishna. And then we make offenses, and then ultimately we don't come to the temple, and then we're outside somewhere and we're blaming all the devotees for everything that they've done, and when they get it together, and I'm not going to be with those people because they're all just angry. But meanwhile, it's really me that's full of anger, and those are my filters that I'm seeing, that I'm thinking, everybody's angry. I mean, ultimately, if we offend the devotees by being angry with them and not trying to resolve a situation or resolve a situation, then if we make offenses, that is the worst thing that we can do, because then what's going to happen is, okay, once maybe you can get away with it, maybe twice or whatever, but at a certain point, we can't come into the temple anymore. We don't come here anymore. We don't practice Krishna consciousness anymore. We stop chanting Hare Krishna. and we're blaming everybody else, but really it's our offenses. So we have to be very, very careful. This anger, we can commit offenses, and we do not want to commit offenses to those Vaishnavas. We don't want to commit offenses to anyone for that matter, but especially to the Vaishnavas, who are chanting 16 rounds and serving Krishna so nicely. So, as I said, Srila Prabhupada's written some very nice purports, and Krishna has spoken with Arjuna about anger. So, take today to just pick up Bhagavad Gita, make a promise. I'm going to pick up Bhagavad Gita today. Okay, I'll make a promise. I'm going to pick up Bhagavad Gita today. One time. Oh, I'm not asking anyone this. But I'm just saying that, to yourself, make a promise, pick up Bhagavad Gita for 5 or 10 minutes. That's all it takes, 5 or just 10 minutes, okay? And if you haven't done it during the day before you take rest, okay, 5 minutes. Okay, es solamente 5 minutos, right? And just read something about anger. And, that's, if you can just do that, read one little passage about anger, and then apply it to yourself and how I'm going to, try to, come to the next level and control anger, then that's a wonderful thing. So, thank you very much for, oh, yes, Prabhu, someone had a, okay, great. Oh, I'd like to hear from you, please. Yeah, I like this discussion very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Jai,
There were 2 thoughts that I wanted to share. One is that
please.
Srila Prabhupada, there's this wonderful story. Nanda Kumar, who was his personal servant, tells how he had, in the process of serving Srila Prabhupada, had made Prabhupada very angry, and Prabhupada chastised him. And then the next day, he told Prabhupada, he said, I'll never do it again. But the next day, he made the same mistake, and he didn't clean where he was supposed to. But Prabhupada saw how hard it was on him the day before when he chastised him so badly that Nanda Kumar almost came to tears. And from then on, Srila Prabhupada would say something to him, and he knew how much pressure to apply. We may not have that ability in dealing with other devotees, and probably we don't. So, like you were saying, we need to be careful when dealing with devotees. But on the other side of that, there's strength that we develop in adversity. And so if we're in a difficult situation, it's an opportunity to become more humble and more tolerant. Sanadapi, Sanijena. This is our opportunity. So if we can see it that way, it'll help.
Very nice. Thank you very much for adding that. Okay, Prabhus. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.